So when I am talking about viral reels, I am talking about some of my reels that have performed very well recently. Those reels that have generated 10,000 plus views, some of which have generated 100,000 plus views. And for me, when you look at the number of followers I have compared to the level of engagement that those reels have garnered, it's pretty good, it's pretty impressive. And so I thought it would be really helpful to share some of the learnings that I have picked up since planning and publishing those reels. At present, these reels consecutively have racked up 107,000 views, 18,000 views, and 32.1 thousand views at time of record. And the funny thing is, I actually filmed all of these reels one after the other one Friday afternoon. So I don't know whether I was just lucky that Friday afternoon, whether the Instagram gods were shining down on me that day, but hey, it's interesting. Now, the first interesting thing to share is that all of these Instagram reels are 10 seconds or less in length. Now, the jury is out on whether a rewatch counts as a view. So if one person watches your reel 5 times, does that count as 5 views or does that count as 1 view? I don't believe Instagram has verified this. If I find any concrete insight on this, any concrete confirmation from Instagram, I will put it on the screen. But it definitely is true that if you create a shorter reel that is packed with value or is hooky or immediately engaging, then people are going to at least sit through the entire length of it. If your reel is excessively lengthy or it takes a while to get going and you don't immediately pique people's interest from the beginning, then more people are going to jump away from that reel. They're not going to sit with it. Remember how short people's attention spans are? That's why it's so important that you grab people's attention immediately. And if you can deliver value in as few seconds as possible, then you are more likely to get people actually sitting through the entire length of that reel and generating you at least 1 view, if not multiple views. The next really encouraging lesson and insight is that these reels were really low effort. As I mentioned at the top of this video, I recorded all of these reels in one go one Friday afternoon. In total, it took me about 45 minutes, maybe an hour when you factor in the research time. But I opened up my Instagram. I spent about 15 or 20 minutes browsing through the Reels feed, seeing reels that I liked, seeing any styles that I liked, the music that I liked, made a note and a quick outline of 3 Instagram reels that I could create. And then I created them. There was no screen recording involved. There was very little props, if any. I think my only real prop was Winston, my corgi, which involved me in one of the reels flipping around the camera so that it looked at him as well as me. And I did have my phone, my second phone, in the shot, so I suppose you could call that a prop. But apart from that, it was such minimal effort. The next thing I noticed with all 3 of these Instagram reels is that I used the music to my advantage. So not only were the tracks that I used very catchy, I could see that they had been used by a few other people on Instagram who'd gotten good results, so I knew that they were trending tracks and they were good songs for me to use. But I also used the beat in every single choice of music to my advantage. So I would have an outfit transition in time to the beat, or I would click or clap in time to the music. I switched around the view from me to Winston in time with the changing beat of the music. When you can move or introduce a prop or do a transition in time with the beats of a song, it makes that reel much more engaging and much more watchable and rewatchable. So see how you can use the beats in a song or a track to your advantage. In terms of the actual ideas of the reels, the subject matter, we had one that was very relatable to my ideal customer. It really humanized a feeling that they have about going live and how nerve-wracking that feeling is. The second reel was an educational, value-packed, quick win reel that provided my audience a very simple tip, but one that has the potential to make really big improvements to their Instagram engagement rate. It provided them an aha moment and something that they could instantly implement. And the third reel was what not to do and why. So this was me speaking directly to my ideal customer, highlighting something that I know they think about a lot, they're tempted to do a lot as a kind of quick shortcut to growth and engagement. And I was speaking directly to them with a bit of tough love, saying, do not think about hitting hitting that promote button, it is not a good idea. It is definitely not a long-term growth strategy. So what lessons can you take from these ideas? Well, content that gets inside the head of your ideal customers or client is a really smart strategy for reels that really speak to them and really engage them, because they feel like you are seeing them. You're making your content about them, and seeing as we are all very self-centered and we're very, we're inside our own heads and we're thinking about ourselves most of the time, to have content reflected back to us is such a smart move on your behalf. Then of course we have the educational content. So if you can share a tip, some kind of actionable advice, that is almost always a great way to guarantee engagement and views on an Instagram reel. Try not to pack too many tips into one reel. It can be one tip, like I shared, one really quick win actionable tip that people loved. And then finally, if you can open your audience's eyes to a reality or a truth that they perhaps weren't sure about, or they perhaps need it to be demystified for them, as I did with the promote button, where I, as the expert, came in and said, do not do that. I know why you shouldn't do that because I am the expert in that area. I am the authority. Listen to my advice. People really resonated with that, and a lot of people felt seen because they're very tempted by it. And then it's helpful to see that the expert, the authority leader in that space, saying to them, don't do that, and this is why. The next lesson from these reels, which is such a big thing for me because up until very recently, it was a big bugbear of mine, is that the content, the footage, the quality of these reels is really high quality. Now, up until about a month ago, I was using my Google Pixel to upload reels to Instagram. Now, the Google Pixel is an Android phone, and the quality of photos on that phone is incredible. But when you use an Android to upload to Instagram, more often than not, it really messes with the quality of the end result on Instagram. So I was uploading really high quality videos, but when they were uploaded to Instagram, they were blurry. It was so frustrating. And for my end user, it wasn't a great experience, or at least it wasn't as good of an experience as I could have provided. And it bothered me, particularly because this is my area of expertise. I teach on Instagram every single day, and it bothered me that the quality of content just wasn't good enough. So as a work expense, as a business expense, I invested in an iPhone. I will put the name of the iPhone on the screen. It was a couple of £100, and it was worth every single penny. So I really encourage you, you don't have to go out and buy a whole new phone, but if there are ways that you can improve the quality of the video content, whether you even just go and stand in front of a window so you get natural light, or you make sure you are framed effectively, you just want to make sure that the quality of the video that you're putting out there is as good as it possibly can be. The next lesson is to do with your cover images. Now, you'll see with these 3 reels that 2 of them were cover images that pulled directly from the reel itself. And I toggled along on Instagram to choose the screenshot that I wanted for that cover image. And one of the cover images was one that I designed in Canva. Now, I don't necessarily recommend doing one thing over the other. All I will say is that whatever the end cover image is going to be, you want it to be contextualized and you want it to be intriguing. What do I mean by that? I mean, you don't want there to be a cover image that is ambiguous, that is confusing, or that cuts off any element of you or whoever is in the video or any of the text. So you'll notice with all of my reel cover images that my face was pulling some kind of interesting expression. I was thinking about something in one of them. I was preparing myself. It looked like I was, getting myself ready to do something in the one about Instagram Live. And in the one that I designed, it was just a nice photo of me with a really clear headline, one simple change to boost Instagram engagement. And with all of those, they were optimized so that my face and the text was not cut off when it was presented in the feed and in the grid. When you go to publish an Instagram reel, you will have the option of toggling along to change the cover image of that reel if you're using a screenshot that's pulling through from the reel itself. I'll show you how to do that on screen now. And you can also check what it is going to look like on your grid, and you can move the reel up and down or left and right to make sure that it is optimized and everything fits nicely within the frame. The next lesson is that with every reel, I hooked people's interest. I grabbed their attention immediately, either with a statement or a question that piqued people's interest. So with the one simple change to boost Instagram engagement, I had the easiest way to increase comments on Instagram. And people obviously are going to want to know what the easiest way is to increase comments on Instagram. With the Instagram reel about the fear of going live, I started that by saying how I get over my fear of going live and no one's showing up. Again, instantly piquing people's attention, instantly grabbing their attention. And again, they want to know what my secret is, because going live is a scary thing. It is that universally relatable feeling. And I'm piquing people's interest by putting it up front immediately at the beginning of the reel. And with the third Instagram reel, I kept the intriguing statement on the screen throughout the length of the video. And when played in time with the music, which was Don't Stop Believing, that don't was really well suited to the message that I had in the reel, which was don't think about pressing that promote button. And that worked together really well to grab people's attention and keep them watching. With all of these Instagram reels, I did use hashtags. I made sure to mix up the hashtags I used with each one. I used all 30, I believe I used all 30. And with every reel, I posted them as the first comment below the reel. With almost every reel I ever publish, I do use hashtags. So I recommend using hashtags. There's no harm in doing so. It's only going to benefit you, so I recommend using them. And my last lesson today is that these reels did not go viral overnight. No, no, no. In fact, with every reel that I've shared that has done well, it has always taken at least 2 weeks to start generating more and more views. And at this point in time, at the time of record, I have created at least 43, I believe it is, 43 Instagram reels. And it took me about 35 Instagram reels before my first one, which isn't one that I've talked about today, but was in fact about creating engaging carousel posts. It took 35 reels before that one went viral, and I believe it has about 118,000 views now. So my point is, and my biggest tip is, don't give up. Keep creating Instagram reels as part of a really robust strategy, one that is providing value to your audience, that is deepening relationships with them, that is moving them closer to conversion. Keep going, keep plugging away, because you never know when one of them is suddenly going to take off and be picked up in the algorithm. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit the subscribe and bell button so you never miss a new one when it drops to this channel every single Friday. I will see you next week for a brand new one. And just before you go, don't forget to check out these 2 videos here, part 1 and then part 2 of the biggest lessons I have learned as an Instagram strategist, a job I've been doing for the last 5.5 years. I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Thank you for watching. Bye.